So here at Slant 3D, we produce a lot of filament, and we just started getting in a new extruder for our filament launch that's coming up in just a little while. But this extruder wasn't quite up to the snuff of what we wanted it to do. There were a number of issues with it, and one of them was in one of the cooling tanks. These cooling tanks are designed to cool a filament as soon as it comes out of the extruder. So once you turn the beads into a line of filament, it goes into a water tank that cools it down. That water tank right now has a single pipe that is throwing in a ton of water, which causes a lot of turbulence. You don't want this for filament because it causes the filament, while it's still kind of molten, to wobble, and you can end up with wobbled filament, or it can change the diameter of it because it kind of pulls the filament and stretches it out in ways that are weird. So we wanted this pipe to basically be fixed so that it very gently delivers the water into it. We have to have a continuous flow rate, so we can't change that, so you have to build a dispersion type tool. And this attaches onto the end of the pipe and pushes the water gently out in a number of small holes so that it's very gentle. And we wanted to talk about how you design this for mass production printing, because even though we're just doing one of these, we always use the same kind of design principles. So the way this part is designed is it is meant to go onto the end of the garden hose. But in order to do that, you have to have it interface with that garden hose. And this is how we designed this spout. This is really useful if you're making like a sprinkler or something along those lines. But the spout starts with a lower diameter and then gets wider, which is a very simple thing to do. And then we put a number of grooves up here so that it has some locking features on it. We didn't give them any teeth or any sort of bite because you can't really come down to sharp teeth with 3D printing because they don't really exist. You can only go down to a 0.4 millimeter sharpness or point on anything because that's the size of the tool. So what we went ahead and did was just have them as grooves in general, and they still provide the locking that you want. But what's really special about this is the fact that it is not actually printed vertically. A lot of people would end up printing something round like this. But in fact, ours is octagonal so that it can be printed perfectly flat on the build surface just like this. And that is made possible by the octagonal outer surface because you don't have any deformation. You still have the effective round part, but you don't have to worry about overhangs or supporting it or having it adhere to the bed. You have a nice flat surface to start from. But what we did with that in order to have the splaying that we wanted where it gets wider is you have the hole kind of going through here crooked. It is fatter up on top than it is on the bottom because the hole is going straight through, but the octagonal outer surface is expanding out as it comes this direction. So it's a weird sort of geometry that's not really standard because most people would take this part, put it up like this, and put a round hole right there and shove it down and then have the layers break. This way, this is totally reliable and as strong as any other part. We can reef on this and there's no way you will ever break it off any more than you would with any other plastic part. But then we were able to take advantage of 3D printing. This part has an internal chamber and then all of these small slotted holes out that side. Now with these design of the slotted holes, we designed it again to be printed like this. You don't ever want independent islands around here, which we kind of have down here. But we spaced them out enough to where that's not that big of a deal, and we made the hole small enough to where it's easy to get that done cleanly. Though there's some better ways of doing it. And one of those solutions is to actually angle up the slots like this so that they go in at an angle themselves other than just this slanted angle. It's right here, but then in the second dimension, it's also angled up that direction. That allows them to basically be printed in a continuous loop without having to break the path in order to grow each one of these. And we did something similar up on top where we shoot straight through. To create a geometry that just can't be molded. You cannot blow mold this. You cannot injection mold this. This cannot even be machined. That huge internal chamber with all of these holes going into it can't really be manufactured any other way. So 3D printing allowed us to make this dispersion attachment so that it shoots the water up and forward, which is around where the filament is running because it runs past this right like this. So we don't ever have the force of the water contacting the filament, it just kind of stirs the area around. And since it has so many holes, it comes out very gently because none of these has an exceptionally high pressure. So this is a really great way of how 3D printing can enable a geometry that was never really possible before to get kind of a functionality that improves a piece of machinery that's actually pretty darn old and very traditional. But it lets us just push it up a little bit higher so that when we launch our printer filament here very, very soon, it is as good as it can possibly be without adding additional cost because we just use better machinery. Have a great day, everybody.